It's been such a long time since Boston led the way. It's more than a feeling. It's Mike and Tom to start the day. The heart of Massachusetts should be freedom, justice, and liberty. Freedom led pilgrims to Plymouth Bay. Salem trials had justice too late. The sons of liberty spilled the tea, and then the redcoats spilled their blood. The shot heard around the world rang out from the Bay State. Boston strong and ready to defend. It's where revolution started and ends. It's been such a long time since Boston led the way. It's more than a feeling. It's Mike and Tom to start the day. Quincy Market, Freedom Trail, Charles River, Boston Harbor, Bunker Hill, Griffin Wharf, Fenway Park, Omar Charge. It's been such a long time since Boston led the way. It's more than a feeling. It's Mike and Tom to start the day.
I feel like I left it all out. I tried to get it through to him. The responsibility he has here. Tried to get it through to him. The fact that he believes, he's been really patient. The courts have been super patient with Judge County. Super patient with the county. Super patient with everybody involved in a way that I've never seen before. Patient. Judge G. Well, he was asking me how he should narrow buffer zone. Man, you never know, right? Trying to figure out what the judge is thinking. That's like, that's like trying to figure out, your girlfriend's thinking. She says everything's fine, right? So we got to. We can talk. No, well, they're not going to tell you, right? But no, when she says everything's fine, or do what you want, that's kind of like reading a judge is very important. But those questions did suggest to me that he is outrageous. And I think he's not about to leave. I mean, look, I really don't know. All I know is we may win, we may lose. I don't take cases because they're easy. I take them because they're hard. And usually I'm the last resort for everybody because nobody else wants to do it. And I'm willing to take the hit. But no one outworked me on this. Worked hard. The team worked hard. I'm here alone today, but my people back in Vegas, Hartford, have also helped work on this. Jay Wolman was on the brief.
Folks in Arizona. Organization.
Well, the organization is National Press Association, the First Amendment Lawyers Association, and the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education. Those three organizations sent fans here today. Great organizations. The fact that they showed up as well, I think, is extremely helpful because it shows the judge that this isn't just about, it's not just about Mr. Grant. I mean, Mr. Grant's a symbol.
And by the way, Grant and this guy.
Yeah, Mr. Roger, he's a journalist that was really used this buffer zone to attack him. Mr. Grant goes out there with a Bible verse.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know.
Interestingly, this is a great point. Yeah. Is that, even when you went and complained, right? It's like, well, here's your day pass.
Yeah. Yes. It is a little bit.
Enjoy that.
Today.
Yeah.
And for the judge to say, the judge in the state court proceeding to have said, since it's got the word freedom in it, that's a close call.
Sure, sorry, you can't film.
Oh, I asked the folks right there. The guy said, sure.
Okay.
Oh, look out. You're going to get thrown around the rag dolls. That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
That's what happened to you. They said you could do it over here, but then you can't.
However, that would not be a First Amendment problem.
Exactly, and that's why I asked.
Yeah,
right.
I actually assumed you need to go outside, and I was told no.
No,
So here we are.
but yeah. But,
So, how are you guys doing, and how do you feel about
Doing
what
all
happened?
right.
Today, Mike did awesome in there.
Yeah,
On the judge. I think it's looking good.
He has a good blend of knowing what the hell he's talking about and presenting it in
Yeah.
a way that doesn't sound like you're getting beat over the head by the attorney who knows what the hell he's talking about.
But not just that, but he also gave the judge an alternative. So he had the problem, here's the problem, but he also offered him a solution that I think he's gonna take. And I mean, he asked a lot of questions for Mark, and he wasn't too keen on the other guy.
Yeah. What's the other guy's name? You know?
John Hill.
Because your buddy's fair. Because he said my
Because with everybody.
at least 7 times.
Well, that's something we say whether we meet or not.
You have to.
My friend, I might say, esteemed colleague or something.
No,
That's my
no.
friend. It's very informal.
Well, it's two prongs to that. We will say that as a matter of courtesy. We'll say my brother or my friend, but I sincerely do like him.
He's not a bad guy.
He's not an asshole. He's not a bad guy.
Position. And he could be standing up. I mean, you got to do your job.
He's got a job.
He's representing his client. I get it. But man, what a shit position.
He's done it.
Argument.
Yeah, he's done it
Wrong
all.
side.
You know, man, I think he made mistakes, just misquoting me, but I don't think those were in bad faith. No, he's a good guy. I enjoy working with him. He's never been a dick to me, And sometimes government, the lawyers will get a little emotionally involved. No, this has been professional. So when he says my friend, that is,
You're not offended.
he probably would have said it even if we didn't. We didn't get along, but we get along well enough that I'm happy to be called friend by him.
So, the upshot, the judge says, I think I wrote it down, something about I'll try to come to a decision as quickly as I can. I mean, this is perfect.
Right.
This is pocket veto material. here.
Yeah, no, but he's
You know?
got to think about it. He's gotta
I would hope so.
write it.
I would hope so.
But he's, also, it does have to happen. Relative to Oregon, but when he gave us the opportunity to do this hearing, he did offer to have it next week. And he said, he did say, it's kind of funny. He said, look, I can have this next Tuesday and ruin your weekends, or I can have it on Thursday and ruin my own weekend. Of course, the government said, oh, next week's fine. Oh, it's
Kick it down the line. Yeah.
I am teaching a freedom of expression course in Italy next week. So, I said, Your Honor, I'm really sorry. I already got plane tickets booked. I'm on my way out. So,
It is a good sign. It was heard, timely, and now, if he would make a decision before next week,
it's one thing about Judge Joe, man. He holds hearings fast. Like, his decisions, I don't know when it's going to come out. That guy does not work slowly. Whatever he's
It's a
going
long
to do.
weekend. It's a long weekend coming up.
Yep.
Hopefully it's.
Give it some time. Think about it.
He could write it
I
tonight.
hope it's, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, let's face it, most judges have some sense of where they're going long before they sit in the chair. They've read all the briefs, heard all the arguments. You guys synthesize the points you need to make. The worst thing I ever see is when somebody gets up and basically regurgitates everything that's in the briefs. It's a losing proposition. And judges hate it.
I'm here to walk you into the situation.
Exactly. Let me give you what you need to decide in my favor. And so he looked at all that stuff. So tough decision by the end of the week.
Now, I could cite every case in my brief to him if he's read it. I believe him when he says he's read it. There are judges I know don't mean it when they've done it. I've read everything, and then they ask a really stupid question that's answered on page 2 of my brief, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. No way, man. This guy, when he says he's read it, he's read it. So it's time to show him. I really wanted him to see how what he does fits into the greater context of what's happening out there. Because this matters. It really matters. For me to say on the streets bad. I'm glad the government said there was something wrong with that.
Yes.
Because then he got to hear it 3 times.
Yeah. And the point that we're so close to where that little issue was decided so long ago, that little Boston Tea Party, the fight with the government, taxation without representation. I mean, we're in the middle of it.
It's,
If I can't wear an anti-government sweatshirt across the street from the courthouse, what country am I in?
We appreciate the work, all of us plaintiffs.
All right.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and hopefully it'll end. Wait.
Thanks.
Take it.
Thank you.
All right.
Take it.
So that was a good day. That was a good day for us, I think. And
I think, to take as much as you can from what you see in court,
and where's he from again? Because he's important.
yeah.
This guy. Yeah,
It's
Actually-
an overarching art organization.
right. It's bigger than So
Walk out of that courtroom. So
Next.
just wanted to ask you, your overall, how you fit into the puzzle.
Right. So I'm John Matus. I'm an attorney, and I represent three organizations that are called AMICI: FIRE, FALA, and the MPPA. That's First Amendment Lawyers Association. Just trying to get the acronyms right. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, and the National Press Photographers Association. They're very big on free speech and the First Amendment. And obviously, with Mr. Bergier being a journalist and being injured by the police in his duties, and journalists in general being thrown in the same cauldron as people with shirts and protesters and demonstrators in this, they're very interested in this case. We filed an amicus in the First Circuit appeal on this matter, and now that it's down here, we filed an amicus here in support of the preliminary injunction. So we believe that this even this new order, it's far too vague, it's far too overbroad.
It made it more complicated. I mean, the problem, it seems to me, is it leaves so much in the hands of law enforcement to interpret what the person is intending. So if I say what you're doing is intending to interfere with justice, interfere with the police, interfere with the trial participants, I'm the one who decides that. I'm the cop who decides that.
Right. That's I quoted a case in the courts called Chicago v. Morales. It's a great quote. It's kind of a classic First Amendment case. And the quote is, a law is void, unconstitutionally vague when it gives too much discretion to the police and not enough notice to the average citizen. People in that area literally do not know what they're wearing or holding is against this order. I mean, as Mark pointed out, Mr. Grant was holding the First Corinthians side of the Bible. That's a classic. It's okay to say that in free speech. The police, however, decided that they did not view the order that way. And that's really those orders are so vague, in our opinion, that an ordinary person can't interpret it. And look,
And it's constantly shifting. And it can shift from one person to the next and one action to the next.
right. And that's one of the reasons you don't allow this sort of vague law. And the police, their job is to enforce the law, not to interpret it in this way. And so when you give them that much discretion, it's going to lead to confusion. Even whether, well-intentioned or not, they're going to see those words on the paper differently than you might as an ordinary citizen or a judge might in a court of law. And we can't. The idea is you shouldn't have to get permission ahead of time to say what you want to say. It should be absolutely clear to the average person. The classic ones are true threats and threats, intimidation tactics, swears, graphic nudity, those kind of things. But at least this case, all of these things, there's nothing clear from the new order or the previous order about what's banned. Intent to interfere is a vague phrase. And it's being applied, obviously, in very strange ways. And that's why permanent injunction is important here, because it will automatically take that interpretation powers away from the police, and they'll just be back to enforcing the laws they know how to enforce, which is noise ordinances, threats. People, we hope that doesn't happen. People might go after the jury or something. We don't want those things to happen. But that's what they should be focused on, not focusing on this order. It's just, as a lawyer, it's hard to interpret. It's hard to understand what language. The more you look at the order, really, the less you understand what it covers. And that's what void for vagueness means. And the other reason we're fighting it is the open broadness. Even if you knew exactly what was banned, it extends 200 feet across the street to other courthouses. And it covers all demonstrations. And people keep thinking, demonstrations can be carefree. There are lots of other cases that people can be protesting. They're smaller cases, people don't know them, but you could be protesting them. And now your First Amendment rights are rescinded because of something that a judge in a separate case said. And that's unfair to other people. And as I stated, it doesn't just have to be case related. It could be you're protesting not getting a job, you're protesting, someone not paying you for your work in the courthouse or something like that. And you're not getting that. You're not getting those rights. So it's restricting it over broadly. 200 feet. Like I said, it goes across the street. It touches that district courthouse. The district court judges are now under that order.
That's right.
Other Superior Court judges are under that order.
Imagine that.
And it actually takes the power away from the local town, because in many cases where there's mass demonstrations, sometimes local cities and towns, they block off the street and allow people to just demonstrate
Correct.
there. And there's police on either side to keep the traffic away.
Right.
And that's
Safety reasons, absolutely. There's never been one issue there, and there's more cops than people there. There's no excuse for it.
And in this situation, the order actually takes that away from the city as well, because the city could not make a discerning decision like, hey, we do want to block this off in this manner for public safety, but allows the free speech. So it sweeps broadly in its power, in its geographic length, and it's too vague to understand what exactly covers the government.
So do you think the fact that it was allowed with perhaps less protest a year ago has adversely affected the attempt to attack it this time?
That's a difficult question. Last year, I know the order was smaller. I think it was only 100 last year.
It was 2 and 2, not 2 and 5.
Oh,
So it was smaller on one end, it's identical on the other.
so it was a smaller area, and then this time the Commonwealth asked for a bigger area, and the court gave them a slightly bigger area than last time. I can't read people's minds on that. I don't know why it was quite that. I think, again, the judge did have some form of evidentiary hearing in this. We don't believe that it reported legal due process. Protesters didn't speak, and the only parties really. It was a party civil case, and you're not allowed to intervene in a criminal case in Massachusetts if you're an outside party. That's a statute. So, and some of the evidence we don't believe was conclusive about disturbances. There was testimony about noise, but it wasn't testimony who caused the noise. What did the noise say? Was it two people arguing over a custody battle at the split of the streets, or was it actually a protester making noise? Or was it a police officer yelling at somebody to stop? So the police officer made noise disturbance. And we don't know, there's not enough detail to that, at least in the findings of the record. And so we're fighting that kind of, a full and fair hearing of protesters might have been allowed to testify. We should get those kind of findings on the record. And, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe anyone has actually been arrested protesting this case unless it's related to violating a buffer zone order.
Correct.
Nobody's been arrested and accused of a crime, and that's why buffer zone was put in effect.
Yes.
The buffer zone was put in effect.
It's a prior restraint.
That's right.
So
Yes.
this is my practical interpretation of what it did. It emboldened Judge Ganot. She got away with it a year ago with far less hoopla. So what the hell? Why not
Bingo.
just do it again this time, but extend it a little bit?
Well, I can't speak for Judge Ganot.
No, I can't either. I'm just giving you my what I think the practical application of her success last time was.
Well, I think that judges do have a duty to try to keep these things from boiling over, and so that was probably on her mind as well, and judiciously so. And but we just believe it's gone too far. I mean, our position is this is far too far. Journalists are being injured. People can't wear Bible verses. It's too broad, too overvague.
It's such a common sense. I don't know how anybody can sit there and go, this seems right. Seems fair.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that.
Well, I will say that when I try to explain what this covers, I have not met a single person who said, I think that's an okay thing to do, whether lawyers or non-lawyers. When I explain the extent, again, judges have every right to protect the proceedings, and we fully support that. But the buffer zone is just too big, too overbroad, so it needs to be limited.
Well, I appreciate the effort. Yep. Mark?
Yeah, sure. I retweeted you last night.
No, you did good. Your video would like to be retweeted. What was
The video when you walked by the courthouse.
You're
Oh,
interviewing everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. I did the drive last night.
Yeah. That was
The night drive.
Yep.
From
How could you
34
miss that?
Fairview to One Meadow. Yeah. Okay, guys, have a safe
All right.
trip
Listen.
back.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Hold on, guys.
We're gonna tell me with this.
Talk to you, my friend. Nice. Okay, he's interviewing everybody. He can't get out of it. Thanks for coming by.
All right.
Thanks for supporting us. Appreciate it. That's awesome. Thanks, bud. This was a good day. I think we did good. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, so how would you feel if there were another side to that? Are you live streaming?
Yes.
I
You
don't
want to shut
wanna be-
off?
Well, I don't
All
want
right.
to.
All right. You're good. Have a good day, guys. Have a good weekend. Have a good holiday. All right, guys. You there? I don't know if you guys can still hear me. I can't see nothing here. All right. So, let me give you the rundown. First off, can you guys hear me before I even go into that? It's windy as friggin' here. All right. So, Mark did a freaking knockout job. I mean, he killed it. Mark went up and Mark argued the buffer zone, it being unconstitutional. Okay? And the judge was asking Mark specifically, like, what about this? What about that? And he answered. Mark had an answer for every question that judge had. And it wasn't just an answer. Mark was good because the problem, for example, the buffer zone, right? The solution to the buffer zone is what? What is the solution? What is it? You need a solution. So Mark goes up to him and says, maybe if you put maybe the left side, if you look at the courthouse, the left side of the sidewalk, leave that open so that can be unimpeded travel for anybody, judges, plaintiffs, whatever, and give the rest to the people. It's their sidewalk. And the judge was like nodding his head, like, yeah, it really is. And then the prosecution guy get up there, the guy for the Norfolk County. Then there was somebody from Dedham Police Department. Hey, everybody, you gotta say a prayer. Time out. Every flag is somebody. All right, guys. Sorry, I didn't want to talk through that. Every flag is somebody. Somebody's kid, you know? Someone's daughter. Someone's father. Who knows, right? Flag means something. So the Dedham Police, the lady that represented the Dedham Police, she had nothing to say. So she stood up and she said, Nothing. Oh, I love when people know me. All right, so the judge was asking Mark Randazza a lot of questions, you know, and to be honest, some of it I didn't even get. But some of the stuff I was understanding what he was saying. That's a cool statue. The different colors is pretty badass. Yeah. The judge was very favorable to Mark. And one of the questions that he asked Mark is the buffer zone, right? Do I have permission? Do I have permission? Do I have permission and authority to get rid of the buffer zone? That's his question to Mark. Like, am I allowed to do this? Like, is that my thing? And Mark gave him the reasons and the you know, I don't say the authority, but the case law that would probably dictate that. So I think I got parking here. Both all freaking wet. Yeah, Mark Randazza is just an amazing attorney. Like, we're blessed to have this guy represent us.
House and I need you. Let's go there. So
Yeah.
stay there.
What else? So this judge is he's pretty much like thinking about getting rid of the buffer zone altogether, grenading it, and just leaving the front of the courthouse open for people to come in and out, like to the left side. So I think it went very well for us, buffer zone people. I think this judge is gonna most likely side with us. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time in federal courtrooms, but this judge was asking about getting rid of the buffer zone. And Mark said it's unconstitutional. And it is. Kind of was seeing what he was putting down. And some of the stuff is very, you know, it's legalized. It's all that stuff. So, yep, I think this is good. What will happen to Hardman? Well, the judge asked specifically that. What do we do? Do I just limit the state police's power? Am I allowed to even do that? So the judge is like really like grasping. What can I do? Can I limit the state police? Can I tell them they're not allowed to do X, Y, and Z? Does the governor override me? I mean, there's so many different things here. But I think the best news of it all is Mark was able to effectively, I think, I really do, effectively convey to the judge just how much the buffer zone is unconstitutional. And the judge was seeing it. And this is the same judge, okay? This is the same judge that told Beverly Canone to rewrite the buffer zone. He told her, go back and change it. And she did. When she went back and changed it, she changed it into something that we all know now. Like the buffer zone today, which is the same buffer zone it was 3 days ago, which is the same buffer zone it was. It's the same, it's Bev's buffer. That's all. She just doesn't want anyone to be involved with this case because it's the impropriety of the state police and the freaking court system. And that, my friends, is why they want the buffer zone. There's no other reason. It's not a safety issue. It has never been a safety issue. Oh, nasty cold. That's right. You just want salad. That's it. But again, we're all kind of lucky because we have the right people in the right places. Just think about if Aiden didn't write that story, where would we be? Where would Karen be, huh? Just think, where would they be?
Sign your ticket.
Oh, I can't do this.
Please wait.
Hey. Well, some quick money that went south real quick. Oh my. So yeah, guys and girls, there's I would say that there is now hope for the buffer zone. There really is. There's really hope for it now. This judge is not wanting it. And he offered to put me on the stand to talk to the judge and explain everything. All right, guys, hold on. I got to get my GPS going so I can get out of here. Telling you guys to hold on like we're going to go around a corner really fast. Yeah. Oh, I got to keep switching back. between here and the GPS so I can get out of this place. It's a maze. All right, I have to go left. All right, I see what I gotta do. Okay. I will say there's a lot of little stores and everything down here, like pocket stores. They're small. I don't know if you guys can see them to the right. Those are little stores. Each one's different. It's kind of cool. Their argument, the Commonwealth was there, okay? The guy kept going back. Tell you right now, I wrote it down. He must have mentioned it 40 times. What the hell is it? 42-183. Section 42, line chapter 183 or something. 1983. They keep referring. He referred to that. Oh my God, that's all he referred to. Saying that gave them the authority to do what they wanted and it didn't work. The judge wasn't having it. The judge was asking him specifically about the buffer zone. Not prior restraint, not freedom of speech, the buffer zone. And he didn't have an answer. And the lawyer for the Dedham police, she just stood up and said, no, we got nothing here. And Randazza was like, bing, 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 right on top of everything. It was beautiful. And I couldn't record it. Oh, that sucked. Yeah. Casey at bat. Hi, Casey. Dedham lawyer tapped out. She wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing. And it was for the Dedham Police Department too. So this is I think this was really good for us. It was a really good day. I mean, I'm optimistic based on what I heard the judge say. Right? I'm very optimistic now about that. The judge kept asking about specifically the buffer zone. And, does he have the authority to get rid of it and limit it? Because our judge, Beverly, won't. She will not limit. She won't limit the buffer zone as she was instructed to do. So it really was a good day for all of us. And man, Mark must have referenced Jason, I don't know, 5 times. Because all Jason did, all that dude did is hold the sign that's from the Corinthians in the Bible. That's it. That's all he did. And they gave him a pass and said, you're allowed to have this sign for today. It was like a 6-hour pass they gave him, that he was allowed to use that sign at the buffer zone. Yeah. Yeah. I think I take it right here. Nope. Ah. You don't back up like that in Boston. Oh, the troopers are going to be big mad. Big mad. Yep. Sorry about that. Oops. So, yeah, the judge was asking Mark specifically, what's the difference between this and that? And he had answers. He was Johnny on the spot with answers, and they were relevant answers. So, I'm like really like just I can't say enough about Mark Randazzo as an attorney. I really can't. He's gonna get rid of the buffer zone single-handedly, that guy. So yeah. Post office. There you go. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful, awesome freaking weekend. Hope everyone's healthy. Shut this thing up. All right, there's that. Yeah. So, what else? When do we get answers? That's a great question. Great question, Gail. When the judge decides to write the ruling, okay, that's when we get the answers, when that ruling is written. And he could write it tonight. He could write it tomorrow. He could write it Monday. We don't know. But he could write it and release it any day. But he will write it. And he will release it. And it will not be what Beverly Canone. It won't be what Beverly Canone thinks of as a buffer zone. It will not. It can't. So this is a good thing. I don't see how this ends up being bad for anybody but the Commonwealth. Because, I mean, Mark did more than what I thought he would ever do. And it's just, wow. Absolutely amazing. What about the assault by Hardman? Yeah. What about he's assaulted a couple people, come to find out. And yeah. Yeah, the mods are freaking awesome. My mods are the bomb. I love them. Love all my mods. Yep. So guys, this is good news, I think. I think this is really good news that, hey, he didn't say no, and he was very very open to Mark in the buffer zone. And Mark was very, very good. And he was absolutely right on the money with everything. All the questions. He had answers right away for the judge. And the judge was kind of yappy with him. Not like in a bad way, but they were going back and forth cases about this and that. And yeah, okay, I understand. All right, I get it. Yeah, I see your argument there. It was just really nice to see maybe the good guys win for once. Maybe. Right? So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And Justice Serve told us all the buffer zone was gone. I don't understand. The buffer zone had to be rewritten. The judge didn't rewrite it correctly. She just jumbled the words around and kept the buffer zone the same way. This judge today is saying that's hard. No, this is federal. This is above judge. This is above Beverly Canone's head. Way above. If this judge says no buffer zone, there's no such thing anymore. But yeah, this is the same judge that told her to rewrite it. Yeah. It was supposed to be. That's right. It was supposed to be, but what Bev made is just word salad. This guy's done with that. He's just like, what can I do to get rid of it? What does it? What purpose does? Well, if I say no to the buffer zone, what does that impact anything? So I mean, he's conscious of it. Very, very conscious. So, yeah. It's been a long day, everybody. Long freaking day. 2 doctors and then court. So, all right. I guess we will catch you all. I don't know when. There's a steam pipe that's broken. Let's flip up. Steam pipe. Yeah. All right, everybody. That's all I got for now. Glad you're all with me. Please hit the like and subscribe. I mean, we do our best, and I guess we go from there. I hope everybody has a wonderful, awesome, super long weekend. Please all be safe. We need you all back here Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, Monday's a holiday. We need you back here, guys. So, love you all. Enjoy the long weekend. Try and get some stuff done. And free Karen Reed. Love you all.
Cold mornings, cracked pavement, courthouse steps. He's there before sunrise while the world still rests. No cameras needed, no spotlight glare. Just a man with a purpose, always standing there. Facing the crowd, but the fight in his veins. Truth in his hands, pushing through the rain. Karen sees him, she knows what it means when you've got boots on the ground and you fight for your dreams. Boots on the ground, day after day, standing for truth in the hardest way. No fame, no glory, just a promise kept. Tom CPU, you never left. He don't ask for credit, don't ask for praise. Just fight in the good fight in 1,000 ways. When the cameras fade and the voices die, he's still right there, never asking why. He's got a handshake that you can trust, eyes that don't blink when it comes to us. Karen smiles because she knows it's true. She's got a soldier and his name's CPU. Boots on the ground, day after day, standing for truth in the hardest way. No fame, no glory, just a promise kept. Tom CPU, you never left. When the courthouse is empty and the crowd's gone home, Tom's still walking, he's never alone. 1,000 steps, a million prayers, because justice don't sleep and neither does he care.